Hello and welcome back to FlowState. Today we are in the south and we are climbing this fucking gorgeous mountain, La Montaña Roja. So we used to live right over there for about 6 months on the beach. It was absolutely epic. I really restarted reclaiming my power when I was living there. My wife was grinding with her legal practice. The kids were young. The building was right on this beach, which is right in front of me. We can't see the beach, which is why you can't see it. And every morning I took full advantage. I woke up, had a coffee, and then I would just walk along the beach. And then I would go, well, actually, there was a few iterations. First, I would walk along the beach, then go out into the ocean and swim all the way back. It took a while for me to be able to swim that distance. The waves, there was like a lot of variables that I had to contend with. Some days were easier than others. And I eventually did it enough times that I could swim the entire distance back, which I feel like is at least a couple kilometers. And in the ocean, that's not nothing. Then I would start running various locations further that way, run here, and then I would go from all the way over there, and then I would run all the way up to the top of this mountain, but up the steepest part. There are also trails around here. As you can see, we're on one now, and I would run just like these people are running now. There's also another town called El Medino, which is just that way, and the South Airport is behind us. So what's interesting about this South Airport is the connectivity all over Europe. It's direct flights to most major cities, and also up until recently, which is unfortunate, there was a direct flight from Newark, New Jersey to Tenerife South, which was amazing. Took that flight twice. It's about 6.5 or 7 hours, I think. So really convenient and quite fast in terms of the distance and time and where you're coming to. Teide is behind us, kind of in the clouds, and Morocco in the Western Sahara, the western coast of Africa, is just past this mountain. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so grateful for this opportunity that I have to be here, and it doesn't sorry, I'm just following directions. It's been a minute since I've been here. There's also a beautiful, I mentioned there's a beautiful beach there. This may be a little bit longer of a FlowState episode. We'll see how long my battery lasts, how long it takes me to get up, and maybe we can look at the beach. There's some cool views and stuff. The car is back there, the road. I'm here because I dropped off a friend and her son to the airport this morning, which is like 5 minutes from here, 10 minutes. And they're flying to Morocco, and then they're going to the south of Spain, then Portugal. Really cool trip. So I decided to couple this drive with a FlowState episode. It's about an hour or so from where we live to here. It's really amazing. And the difference, if you've been dropping in, or you've watched a few of the other past episodes, the juxtaposition between the north and south is just absolutely massive. So as you can see, there's various trails that go up. Some are easier than others. The inclination is also different depending on which trail you take. I used to run up like a fucking psycho I never fully made it up in one go running up the side. It's a pretty intense attack, and it doesn't look like much from here, but I can assure you, running about 2K to this place and then going straight up the side, it's pretty hardcore. I don't think I did it. I can't remember. Maybe I came really close, but I'm pretty strict. So if I slow down to a fast kind of large stride walk, doesn't count. Needed to be running or jogging, let's say. I mean, running up that was like totally next level. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody has enjoyed their week, tapping into their power, staying calm, staying grounded, speaking your truth. So as you know, the concept behind this is that I press record and I just go for it. There are moments of dead air when my brain slowly stops working, primarily due to physical exertion. That's another idea that I think I've really been enjoying, is coupling this with physical activity. And sometimes that aspect of it takes hold, and that's cool, man. That's just part of flow state. It's about being in flow. It's about not having any idea about what it is that I'm going to say, what topics we're going to discuss. Also taking advantage of this time to be able to answer questions that anybody may have that have been left in the comments from past videos, and being able to connect with you to offer deeper insight in a long form format that's going to be more nuanced than the short form that I have been publishing on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok as well. So recently, the past few videos that I've been working on and publishing, you know what, I'm gonna just put this down. I forgot to tie my shoes here. Okay, good to go. Big difference that makes. So, one of the most recent videos, the shorts that I have been working on, is about speaking your truth. And, you know, I use this language in this moment only as a way to better connect in the most simplest way to all of you. And I say truth because what does it mean when we say speak your truth? It means that you are being honest with the way you're currently feeling, indifferent of how the perceived outcome as it relates to the individual you're communicating with will absorb what it is that you're saying. So in other words, you saying something not with the intent of hurting someone's feelings or anything like that, but there is a possibility that what you say is not going to land in the way that you think it's going to, or what you say is going to upset the person you're speaking with. Now, this could be a romantic partner, your children, your parents, a colleague, your boss, subordinate, whatever. And the thing to remember is that if we do not speak our truth, if we, let me just take a moment here. This is El Medano. It's pretty great. This is prime for boarding, windsurfing, and foiling and other things like that. The wind here is pretty relentless. I'm very grateful right now that it's not blowing like it normally does. It was almost like debilitating, honestly. And there's some international tournaments that happen every year. There's some other islands like Fuerteventura that is really just optimal for this kind of sport. Anyways, it's gorgeous. We'll have a nice view at the top. So going back to speaking our truth and doing so as a means of self-preservation and understanding that what you say may upset someone, but you're not doing it with an intent to be mean, to be disrespectful, to upset them. You're speaking your truth because it's what's alive in you. And if you don't, the outcome is that it corrodes your identity, and it also, to be really direct, it's being fake. And there are so many negative outcomes to this that I believe and see in so many people and society as a whole, how withholding what is alive in us and how that can have such a detrimental effect on our well-being. I mean, truly profound. And there's some interesting information that then links the causation of withholding negative emotions to essentially in the ultimate kind of negative terminal illnesses, where things effectively metastasize into the exacerbation of what otherwise could have been resolved potential illnesses. So, I do remember situations in my life where I wasn't speaking my truth as much as I should have and being as direct as I should have, and how that internalization really was a corrosive catalyst to my feeling like shit, depression, compromising my ability to then go out and accomplish the things that I want to do. There's so many things that are correlated in life that don't get talked about. And I was actually having a conversation this morning with the woman I was driving, a friend of mine, about emotions being the catalyst for either amplifying or aiding in or aiding in the healing of various elements. Ooh, starting to get a good incline here. I normally go down first. Oh, man. Over here is a great spot for running along the ocean. These trails are just amazing. As I said, the continent of Africa is over there, pretty close. Morocco is about an hour and a half flight, or an hour, I think. So, let me just catch my breath. Not much of a podcast if I'm constantly out of breath. Oh man. So one of the things that has helped me really speak my truth, most importantly, I mean, without a doubt, the most important time to speak your truth is when you know it's triggering an emotion inside you. So you've been putting off a hard conversation, or someone does something that you don't like, or that doesn't meet your needs, or that is out of alignment with what you're looking to do, and then that being an impediment to it. I mean, there's so many variables here. But when you start feeling your heart rate elevated, or you are sensing a nervousness, or the feeling of what I describe as the, let's say, undercurrent of anxiety, but one of negative attribution, not positive, which we've discussed before. Anxiety, or the negative emotional labeling of those feelings, negative. But the feelings themselves are a powerful indicator of doing the thing and pushing forward, as opposed to shying away. So if you have to say something to someone and you feel your heart rate elevating and you feel a little uneasy in your skin, that is a clear indicator that you're on the right path, that you need to speak your truth in that moment. Because if you don't, you internalize that energy, it metastasizes, and it's all negative. There's no positive outcome internally within yourself and externally as it relates to the relationship that you have. This could be a lifelong relationship, a single serving friend, like on a plane, for example, just whatever, or at the grocery store, coffee, Starbucks, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. The main thing is to have the courage to say what is alive in you, and do so, and it was like level 2 here, without analysis, without judgment, simply by approaching it from the facts. Oof. The more honest we are with ourselves, the more we get accustomed to speaking our truth. The more truth we can speak, the output of that, just like anything that we do, it's all about reps. It's all about practice, being in practice of speaking your truth. I will say the one thing about these toe shoes, sometimes the rocks get stuck in between the toes. There's a 15% coupon code, discount code in the description if you're interested on Vibram. Only within the US though, vibram.com. Anyways, I fucking love these things. So, the more in practice we are with speaking our truth, the easier it gets, right? It's like your first year of training is going to fucking suck. It's gonna suck because your body's not adapted to the stress that you're putting it under. Your body needs to recover, and your second year is going to be easier than your first year. It's going to require more effort, but overall easier. Okay, another break. This is Playa La Tejita. So this beach I used to run along. We go swimming there after, actually. Like we said, Merino is there. It is up there. That's the airport, maybe you can see. And this gray building, which is not completed yet, to the left of that is where we used to live, and there's a really awesome chiringuito. You can kind of make it out a little bit. But this is a beautiful beach, super calm right now. This is really fantastic in this moment. Normally it's fucking gnarly with the wind, but you do get a little protection here. You know, anyways. I guess I'm playing tour guide today as well. So, we're almost to the top. It took us 21 minutes so far. So, fuck, just lost my train of thought. Reps. So, just like anything, right? Everything in life, the more you do it, the more proficient you become at it, the easier it gets. It doesn't mean that with various things, it's like as things get easier, the natural inclination is to make things more challenging. In order for that to happen, you have to exert more effort. But over time, it still is easier than when you first started. You've just progressed in levels, just like school, you know? It's kind of like this cyclical thing, or just the pursuit of learning. So, speaking your truth, the importance of really connecting with yourself and having the courage to express yourself wholly without concern for how what you're saying is going to land. Again, you're not intentionally looking to be mean. You're not intentionally looking to create conflict. You're simply expressing yourself in an authentic way so that you can clearly communicate with people. And it's really, when you break it down, all about self-love and really propagating the idea that in life, you are your purpose, you are your priority. You cannot be in service to others if you don't take care of yourself first. You can't really help other people if you're deficient in some key, almost to the top. Okay, we made it. Almost. Oh, I'll catch my breath up here. Woo! Oh man, I miss this so much. That's the beach again. I've been up here sometimes, it's so windy. I can barely stand up straight. Okay. Top of the world, ma. Whoa. Don't want to fall. Okay. We're going to go to the end. Should we go explore a little bit? Woo-hoo-hoo! Fucking shit, dude. Haha. Wow. That's quite a jump. Maybe not recommended. Not today, at least. Maybe tomorrow. I won't be here tomorrow, but you know. Oh, fuck. When you look down such a crazy pitch, it really is kind of a little intense. Woo! Gorgeous. Yeah, so you can see the beach. Sometimes this is kind of fucked up right here. So see these yellow buoys? My understanding is that you have these container ships with crude oil from out in the Atlantic Ocean here. And they come and there's this piping mechanism. Oops, sorry, can't really see this. This piping mechanism that goes down into the ocean and then goes right to the airport where those massive tanks are. And so they do spill oil here, which is kind of fucked, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay. And speaking of oil, here's a container or a drilling platform right over there, if you can see. All right, I was just taking a few pictures. So, speaking your truth, being real with yourself first and foremost, not attaching an outcome to what you need to say as a mechanism to change what you need to say. You need to lean in when it's uncomfortable. I remember now what I was going to say. The tricks that I've used to ensure, to the best of my ability, that in the moments where I feel this, what is traditionally associated with anxiety, the feeling of your heart kind of elevated, maybe slight shortness of breath, feeling like you're a little nervous, okay? These are clear indicators that you must lean into that truth and you must express yourself, because if you don't in that moment and you internalize that energy, that metastasizes into negative energy, okay, within you. And it may not seem like much in that moment, but you compound that over weeks, months, and years. You know, I'm sure you know people that are like cool as a fucking cucumber, right? But then one thing, bam, and they explode. It's not because of the thing that happened in that moment. It's because they've been repressing their emotions for 60 years or whatever, you know? It happens twice a year. Oh, Johnny explodes, or you know what I'm saying? So that's not a healthy state to be in mentally, emotionally. The emotions are the driving factor to regulating how you show up every moment of every day. This could be true with your spouse, your kids, your coworkers, your parents. And sometimes things happen and you get caught off guard and you kind of like think something's a good idea in the moment, but then when you reflect on it, you're like, no, this is not right for me. It's okay to change your mind, to change your position on something. You're not married to your ideas. The key is to not get worked up. The key is to not allow your emotions to take hold of you. And how do you do that? because it's obviously way fucking easier said than done. Okay, it's taken me years to get to where I am, and I'm by no means an expert. I just have figured out a way that I can leverage in those moments to be able to alleviate the pressure of a negative emotion as it is happening. And so I said it. It's like your heart rate is elevating, you get a little excited, meaning like your emotions are not in a stable state. Shortness of breath, feeling like you might be a little nervous, you're already making up shit in your head about what the other person's going to be saying instead of actually saying the thing, right? And you don't know what they're going to say. You have no idea. You have no idea what their response is going to be. Hopefully it is a response, because that means that it's been considered as opposed to a reaction, an emotional trigger. And it's all like, people who find themselves emotionally triggered are ultimately, it's like a low status, low energy vibration, because they're really not in control of all of their faculties. And I've been there plenty of times. It's not like saying I have mastered this. This is not that. It happens, okay? But how quickly can we recover? That is the magic. That's progress. That is self-love. The process of reclaiming your power as quickly as possible is the practice. That's the thing to work on. It's not so much, oh, holy fuck. I'm glad that wasn't a cliff. It's like, how quickly can we recover? How quickly can we stay in alignment and reclaim our power after something derails us? That's the practice. That is the essence of the work that we do. Because it's a muscle. Over time, that muscle gets stronger. It gets more resilient. It becomes more and more anti-fragile, which is the ultimate pursuit, right? It's like whatever happens extrinsically doesn't affect us intrinsically. That's the practice. Focusing on the things we can control and letting go of the things that we cannot control. You cannot control your emotions, period. End of story. Okay? You can certainly be in a state in which you can regulate your emotions. You can certainly be in a state in which you can be more aware of your emotions, but what you choose next is in your control. The physiology is not in your control. It's like maybe you're sleeping, right? And you hear a weird noise, and then bam, you're awake. Cortisol fucking coursing through your veins. You have a little adrenaline. That's not something you can control. That's just part of biology. But what you choose to do next in that moment is within your control. Now, people who tend to lean in to the uncontrollable sense of emotion, meaning the overwhelming emotion that they're confronted with. So what I mean by that is people who tend to panic, people who are not practicing regulating their emotions, or at least practicing being in tune with their body to be able to understand that something is happening within us, something is alive within us, and then how do we respond to that? We can do radical things when we're not clear-headed. Cut all our hair off. Go on a fucking bender. Be reckless at the gym and ego lift and then hurt yourself. This is not self-love. This is simply an inability to be connected with yourself and respond to what is alive in us. It's all about language. It's not about reacting, it's about responding. In order to respond, you need time and space to process. No one is forcing anybody to speak quickly. That's like societal made up pressure to always be like always be thinking about an answer before you've finished listening to the other person, disregarding the core of your emotions. People who tend to rely on substances are not in alignment with their emotions as much as they could be because they're in a constant state of flux. There's no stable regulator. And it takes time to reclaim that. I mean, look, I've partied my brains out, like fucking next level. And never once after a serious fucking escapade was I myself for like a week. So imagine drinking every day. Imagine smoking every day, which for me, that was like me for so fucking long. And I still smoke cannabis most days, but not every day anymore. And I kind of cycle on and off, and I do different things to just kind of like not be so consistent in the outlets that I'm using to quote unquote relax or kind of like change my state and things like that. So, you know, I'm being real and honest in my communication because this is growth for me as well as you. This is the conversation that we're having. The whole fucking point of this is to leverage my experience and be a mirror for you in relatable outcomes and moments in our lives to be able to then learn from and progress. And so, you know, I'm really just thinking about this idea of speaking your truth in this moment because the past 3 videos, let's say, that I published this week are really about that. They're about, well, one was about the concept of self-erasure, which also is essentially another way of saying you speak your truth, but maybe a subtle nuance difference. And it's all about self-preservation in the long term. It's about you staying true to yourself and constantly being in a position of reclaiming your power, never feeling defeated by someone else's reaction or response to what it is that you're saying. Every human is entitled to their opinion, like really entitled. Like, I don't use that word often, but it's true. No one has the right to tell you that you can't speak your truth. And if they do that, they should look inward to better understand the catalyst for that. That's not okay. It's not your responsibility to ensure that everyone around you is constantly happy. And if you feel like it is your responsibility, that is draining emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's sucking your life force dry. Now you can show up, like service is one of my core values, right? I love being in service to people. I love it. I think it's an art form. To really care for someone, both in the tangible and intangible way. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned, fine. We're all human, we all get derailed. It's just, again, how quickly can we bounce back? How quickly can we resolve the challenge that's being presented? How quickly can we own up to our mistakes and take responsibility for our actions when they fall short. Ouch. Fuck. It's in the moment of sensing something that is becoming more active within our body that we really need to pay attention. And if it's scary, good. You know you're on the right path. If you feel your heart racing, good. You know you're on the right path. And the closer you can close that gap, it's like the moment you close the gap, the moment you say the scary thing, oh, woo. I feel like a weight has just been lifted off my shoulders, because it has. That energy is compounding within you. And think about how powerful that is. If you've ever been to a concert or like a church or any kind of gathering and there's like unified energy, okay, that is super powerful. And that exists within us. And you need to release the things that can metastasize into essentially toxic cells that will erode the fabric of your existence from the inside. Self-preservation. Choosing your well-being over someone else's in order to uplift life around you is a prerequisite to achieving that. Owning up to your mistakes in the moment, prerequisite to cleansing yourself of all this pent-up shit and emotion that has been weighing on you like a ton of bricks. Sorry, I was just choosing which way to go. Maybe go this way to go down. The growth blueprint, in part, is a way out to identify specific characteristics in your life and get clear for yourself in order to be more aware on how to effectively take action when you start feeling this way. Tools that you can leverage in the moment, like we just discussed earlier in this episode. Man, do I have a pebble stuck in my shoe? Defining your core values effectively and how to live by them is a great place to start. It is, in fact, the place to start after vitality. You know, at this point, I feel like it should go without saying, but vitality is the foundation for everything. If you do not have the energy, you will never be able to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. You know, as basic as just being able to get up out of bed in the morning with power and vigor. You know, the dependency for things like caffeine, like immediately out of bed, for example, because you're not fully well rested, you know, all ties in to what you will learn in the vitality course. It's not just about movement, nutrition, It's about recovery and understanding that that is a vital component to feeling strong and powerful. Overtraining is a real issue for a lot of people because it turns into something that, again, is a dependency, is an outlet. Every moment of every day, you're confronted, you're presented, you're being yelled at by a whole host of different perspectives and energy, and we find ourselves so distracted, especially because most adults have smartphones as like an appendage, myself included. And something that I have been practicing for a while, sometimes I am successful, sometimes I'm not. I think we went on the wrong path. We have to go this way, some way, somehow. Okay, sorry. And so, a little exercise for you to consider. The next time you find yourself waiting, the next time you find yourself in between a meeting, in between two events, it could be a short amount of time or a little bit, and what I mean by that is like it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be half an hour, whatever. The default, the auto reflex is to reach for your phone, and I would say a healthy bet would be to go into social media. Unless you are using your phone as a tool for business, and then, whatever. Like, there's a variety of apps that you would be using. I mean, I use my phone primarily for my business. But there are times where I feel like, well, I'm going to just drop in just to kind of, quote unquote, numb out, get some entertainment. And I propose refraining from doing that in these gaps. Just being present with yourself, feeling your body, observing what's in front of you, enjoying the moment, being present. Just for a few minutes, being conscious, really focusing inward on your breath and experiencing life intensely. And then go about your next task, event, or then reach for your phone because you can't take it anymore. It's a real thing. It's hard to do that because we're so wired. Oh, the sky is cleared up. Plane is taking off right in front of Teide, the volcano. We're so wired to be dependent on distractions to take us out of ourselves, as opposed to reconnect with ourselves, look inward. And I will be the first to admit that I do this, and I do it more than I would like to sometimes. And the key is balance between what you're using as an escape and what you're using as intent. So, as I said, I use my phone as a business tool primarily, and also as a way of capturing life's moments. I absolutely love the camera and the video capabilities of my phone, and it's transformed how we communicate. It's amazing. FaceTime, capture, I'm as an example, there's like almost 80,000 videos in my photos library. 80,000 photos and like, I don't know, 25,000 or it could be more, I don't know, videos. And I just love leveraging all of that on our TV, which is really just a display in our home. It's connected to Apple TV. I mean, you could use whatever, it doesn't matter, but it's like instead of having a black screen, we have all these videos and mostly photos playing as like a slideshow with different themes, and it enriches our life. We get to relive all of these moments. And back in the day, I'm sure you can relate, you had film and you printed the pictures and then you compiled them into collage books. And every once in a while, you'd open these books and go through them and relive these moments because memories are so powerful. I mean, you could taste the sand the first time you went to this place and what, it's like all of it, right? And appreciating all of the memories, living through them in a way that is only through technology that could be possible. That is so awesome. I can't get enough of it. The kids, I mean, we'll just sit down and watch that instead of watching a show because it's so compelling and there's so many images and you just inevitably see the same image. You see it less and less the more images you have and the bigger the slideshow. So another example is like, you know, and I would also advocate for this because what is the point of capturing life's moments and then not leveraging the thing that you captured? It's like, why even bother taking a picture or video in the first place if you're not going to actually use it? Put it on display. We're not talking about like every picture needs to be perfect. In fact, I came to that realization when I was compiling these slideshows that it is the B and C and D quality images that in many ways are the ones that speak the greatest truth. It's the weird fucking faces that weren't, you know, perfect for that one picture, for that A-roll selection. It's the half blurry in motion shot that the 2-year-old took, but is like an impression of time and space. It will never be recreated. And the fact that that's cycling through in your slideshow is amazing because when it comes up, it sparks all kinds of emotion, all kinds of connected memory, reliving those moments in a way that is pure. It's not a form of escape in that you're sitting at your desk wishing you were on a beach sipping a pina colada. It's that you're at home folding laundry and you look to your right and all of a sudden you see a picture of you on the beach sipping a pina colada and bam, you're fucking right there. Cool breeze going through your hair, that crusty feeling on your skin after you just got out of the ocean. That's real. That's presence. That's giving intent to something that you captured, not as a form of escape, but being connected to it in a way with purpose. If you go to your parents' home, depending on what age, obviously, but if you're, 35 and older, your parents most likely had photo albums, right? I mean, maybe even younger, I don't know. And it's like, how often do those get pulled out? My wife's parents are in the process of digitizing all of their printed photos. We have like 30 boxes of my dad's family, my mom's family, in a basement that we're gonna get all digitized. And it's like thousands of images to be able to share, to remember, to preserve. Of course things can happen, but most likely cloud storage is a very secure place to store things, especially if you use a reputable company, and there's obviously redundancies. So, you know, I feel very secure with having that. But, you know, the reality is that printed photos corrode over time. There could be a natural disaster. I mean, who the fuck knows, whatever. Okay, but it's like, that is the point of taking these pictures. And if you're not gonna use them, why bother? Because in that moment, it's a distraction to the thing that you should be focused on. It's like the people who record these really awesome, once-in-a-lifetime moments, and they're looking at it through the lens of their device, and that footage sometimes will never, ever, ever be seen again. But meanwhile, they missed the experience. So it's like, if the intention behind capturing your life is to be able to then relive it naturally, organically, in a way that is kind of like a constant amplification of all the awesome and super great things that you've done and experienced, most importantly, that's the point. To take advantage of all of the tools you have at your disposal to uplift the human experience, to be more connected, to be in alignment as much as possible, and to do things with intention. That, to me, there's nothing greater in life than that. And sharing it with the people that you love, yourself included. We're approaching the end of our journey. I felt really good about this flow state. I feel like my brain was sharp. My thinking was clear. I feel connected to you. If this is your first time dropping in, I greatly appreciate your presence. I hope you took something out of this conversation today. I hope you benefited from this conversation today. If you feel compelled to, please drop a comment, ask a question. The links are in the video description, how you can connect with me. If you did find benefit, I would appreciate you subscribing, liking. It really does help us connect with more people like yourself who are looking to reclaim their power, stay in alignment, move with intention and momentum. And if you're looking to level up even more, click the link in the video description for our community on School, the Growth Blueprint. If you have any questions, drop them there in the comments or on Instagram, whatever. I will respond to every question, every comment. Thanks so much for dropping in. Have an amazing week, everybody. See you next time.